Hello, my name is Bruce Anderson. I've lived in Rusholme since 1968. When I retired 5, 7, 9 years ago, I had this plot that I really wanted to put on a history of this locality onto the web. I thought a public domain is much better than a book. If you write a book, there's a publication date, and that's it. Any new information that comes up, too late. If you have a website, then all the memorabilia, the pictures, the photographs, all of the history that you can find out about the locality could be added. People could correspond, give you new information. It could be an ongoing interactive sort of history of Rusholme. There, for instance, is Rusholme Military Hospitals. It's an ongoing online history, local history project about Rusholme. I think the compliments, I have had written compliments, and two of the nicest have come from one in particular, one guy who runs several websites, of local history websites around Greater Manchester. He sent me a very complimentary note saying how he thought it was very good, well researched, well presented, etc., etc. The librarian of Chetham's paid me a very generous compliment about my page on the Rusholme Military Hospital. I found that was really encouraging. I'm encouraged by the fact that when I drill down through Google Analytics, I can find out who is looking at the website and what it's being looked at for what reasons. And I found, for instance, a university lecturer in Manchester has recommended to his students they follow the website because it presents a view of this area, of a locality of Manchester 100 years ago. There are some people who obviously come back to it quite regularly, and it never ceases to amaze me why people in India, why people obviously in the English-speaking worlds do look at it. America, Australia seems to be quite popular. The British Library and the British Museum have a joint project whereby they're archiving websites. They're very conscious that in a sense websites possibly are an ephemeral thing. It's not displayed as though it were my particular Rusholme archive, but they've accepted my website as being suitable for archiving. So I think that's quite good, really. Pictures of Platt Hall there when it was used as a restaurant. You do have to have a vision of what you want to achieve, and I suppose my vision is that I want to put online all the history and all the stories that I can find about Rusholme. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you do something that you think is a bit not very good, you can always edit it later. You can always take a story down. If you publish a book, that's going to be hung around your neck for the rest of your life. There's been one or two additions in terms of facilities, particularly being able to add a photograph to an individual paragraph as part of that paragraph. And I find that a wonderful additional facility. You certainly want a website that is easy to manage. Other facilities like the gallery can be very useful. What I find with my website is that there are particular areas of Rusholme that have been photographed so many times, it's not worthwhile displaying individual photograph after individual photograph. You can put together a gallery. A viewer has only got to click on any one picture that interests them, and it expands to fill the whole page. So I find that facility very useful. And ultimately it is a backup facility. If there's something I'm unsure about, I can just ring up and somebody will explain to me or very quickly put me right. I've been able to link to YouTube and find material on YouTube. When I wrote the page about the first Rusholme cinema, one of the films that was referred to in the 1912 programme referred to a film that somebody has actually put onto YouTube. So people can click and effectively go and see a movie that was being shown in Rusholme in 1912. They can see it today and get the feel of what it might have been like to see it then. So that's a very useful facility.